terrible news for you, Emmitt. How does Micah's negotiation impact week 1?
Go ahead. I mean, I think it's, at the moment, disastrous.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cowboys don't have a lot of paths to go into Philly and win. But all of them involve a game-changing defensive play. You know what I like? That's probably a little hyperbolic to say that's the only way they can win, but
A Jalen Hurts forced fumble would certainly go a long way.
Strip sack that you scoop and score, or a tipped pass at the line of scrimmage that you then Philly needs to have some errors, and Philly is not a self-inflicted error type of team. You know what I mean? They need to be forced errors.
Under 30.
And so, I mean, as long as they're not
Keep it under 30.
Yeah, exactly. And so there is that tangible on-the-field impact to week 1. There is also the tangible but not quite as definable of are the other players on defense, and for that matter on offense, getting the most out of training camp without having the best player on the team on the field for those practices to, you know what I mean, see how they play off him or how they react to him, you know, on the offensive side. And then there is the totally intangible, just emotional toll of how ready for the season or locked in for the season are the other key Dallas Cowboys when they have in the back of their mind our key guy may or may not be here. So, across the board, it hurts their chances. I mean, what would the point spread be different if Mike had signed a month ago? Probably not. But it would certainly feel like the Cowboys are much more of a live dog going into that game than they are right now.
And you got a new head coach, a new defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator for that matter too. But like Micah, I get it. He's sitting in on the meetings and all that, and he's at practice, but he's not hitting. He's great enough where he can be effective coming right off the street, so to speak. But it is going to hurt them that he's not getting these reps now. They're going to get pummeled in week 1.
Pummeled?
Yeah, because I think Philly, I mean, it's a division rival like Philly. Of course you want to beat the heck out of Dallas, all right? So they don't want to just win. They want to destroy them. It's in Philly. Realistically, if they're 2-2 after week 4, because they're at Philly, then they have the Giants, which won't be easy, but that's in Dallas, then Chicago and Green Bay. So if they're 2-2, and Micah's rounding in the form, I think that's good for them. But it could be worse than 2-2.
And you guys are right from the practical perspective of if you haven't practiced and then you haven't played in any preseason games, and then let's say they do sign him right before the start of the season, you go into that game 1, there's a risk of a soft tissue injury because the intensity level ramps up so much. Then you have to figure out how much do you play him in that game.
That's what I was going to say. Is he on a pitch count in that game?
Well, he might be on a pitch count. Then he's been sitting in the meetings, but is he a reps learner? Does he need to be part of the defense to really understand where he fits? And so how well does he understand the defense? And then the flip side of that is how well does Matt Eberflus, the new defense coordinator, really understand the best ways that Micah fits into the defense? So that's another component of it. And it'll be a boost from a morale perspective if he signs, and he's going to be better than, the alternative. And to go through another camp, we do this every year with Dallas, to go through another camp, what Emmitt said is real. It's a distraction. People are worried about the wrong things as opposed to being focused on moving forward with a new head coach, a new system, and being able to be at your best going to week 1 as opposed to another year of this.
Go ahead.
No, go.
It's also, when you look at the other guys around the league that are holding in or are not around, James Cook is a position that the whole league is hesitant to pay. You know what I mean? He's only really had one A+ year. I think he has clearly outperformed his contract, but if I were running the Bills, I really wouldn't want to pay him. You know what I mean? So I understand that conflict. Cam Hayward is one of the oldest players in the league. Got a contract adjustment a year ago, you know what I mean? And now is like, hey, I was an All-Pro. I'd like more money again. Now you understand, and again, I'm basically universally on the player's side, but I understand the series being like, You know what I mean? Like, do we really want to pay this now for a guy in his late 30s? Earmuffs, Wilds. Trey Hendrickson, to Coach's point, did recently get a new contract, and the Bengals paid a bunch of other people, and it was pretty clear for a while they're going to try to hold their ground on at least one of these guys, and he's the odd man out. The Micah thing is so absurd and so unnecessary. There is not two sides to the coin. There is not a second side to, we won't call your agent and have a discussion. And so that's the part of it, if you're a Cowboys fan, that is so frustrating, is it is not the Zeke holdout from a few years ago. What the Cowboys did end up blinking on that. But the Cowboys had real reason to not want to pay a running back 3 years into his career. You know what I mean? It's like, no, like we're not paying that position early. They ended up paying the position early.
I would say, just from the negotiation standpoint, if this is the way they do business in Dallas, then this is the way they do business in Dallas. If he's always done it this way, Micah shouldn't be surprised that it's being done this way. His agent shouldn't be surprised that it's being done this way.
I don't think they've always done it where they won't speak to the agent.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what the dynamic is. I talked to someone who was familiar with it and said it doesn't seem like there's a conflict between Jerry and the agent that's pre-existing. So maybe this is just the way that Jerry does business.
It's ridiculous.
So it's his right. He's the owner of the team, and we may not agree with it. But if you're the player and you want to get it done, there may have to be some give in that approach.
Drew, do you think there's a part of this that Jerry is enjoying not paying Micah?
Yes. Oh, yes. No question about it. I mean, he said as much. We talked about it in the first segment. Like, this is a soap opera. His words. If no attention is being paid to us, I will stir something up. That's what it is. If Micah were signed, we would not be paying much attention to the Cowboys. I mean, if they're the Cowboys, we'll talk about them a little bit, but they would be behind Philadelphia, Washington. The Giants are looking pretty good. Like, we wouldn't really be talking about them, but now we are. So I think Jerry is enjoying this, which makes me think he's going to pay him, before the season starts.
I just don't have the same conviction that Jerry's is sold on making him the highest paid non-quarterback in the league as everybody else does.
I mean, look how much he paid Dak.
Exactly.
Way more than he has.
Exactly. And I think there may be some sort of regret to that, and there may be some regret to what he did with Zeke. So now here we are again, and he might be thinking, is this really what I want to do? Or do I want to maybe think not just in terms of this year, but moving forward, having some flexibility to build the team?
I still think you talk to the agent. That's the piece of this that is, to me, indefensible. It is if his position was, I'm not paying this player, then he wouldn't have sat down with Mike and agreed to pay him.
You got it right.
You know what I mean? Like, see, according to Jerry's own words, you would be amazed at how much I agreed to pay Micah. I overextended myself in that conversation in March.
I pay everybody. That's
in March, he thought, according to the Cowboys, they thought they had a deal done with the player. To then go from that to, we will not call your agent, which to me feels like a weird power thing, which is no. I'm Jerry Jones and I don't have to.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it's a weird. I think it is a power thing.
Yeah. And so
and the reality is he's Jerry Jones and he doesn't have to.
Well,
he owns the team. It's not like we're dealing with the GM that you can go to the owner and say, go over his head. You can't go over his head. And if this is how he wants to do business, he may be wrong, and we may all disagree with it, but the question is, can you find some workaround to
Mike
get this
has got
done?
to buy the team. It's going to be hard with us.
You know what it's like?
That new contract.
It's like your Franklin Delano Roosevelt story.
Oh, my God. This guy, can I tell you something, America?
That's what
I heard this story.
Did you hear this story?
I didn't. I
It's not a
don't
bad
think
He told a 20-minute story about Franklin Delano Roosevelt's painting.
Bro, was it 20 seconds? The quote from FDR to the painter?
That was kind of long.
It was
it was 20 seconds that felt like 4 minutes.
That's what it may have felt like. But now you're right. Because who was in charge in that dynamic? FDR. And he's like, you know what? I'll get painted when I want to be painted. And eventually Jerry Jones will come down those White House stairs and say, now's the time, Micah. It's important to him that's what you said. That's what you said about FDR.
That's not
it's
what
a story with a
it
lot
was actually
of
a story
branches off
about
the trees.
painter not about FDR.
But it does make
Being
it. You do
prepared,
see it though,
being
right?
ready.
Why
The
don't you get
FDR
some
thing?
points? I don't know what
no,
this is.
he's only doing it
Why
for
don't you
the
get some
points.
points? Because
Coach,
this
he's
is really
only-
good.
It's true.
You
FDR
see,
is like,
you see
now's
what
the
I
time.
said is absolutely
He's
true.
stat chasing.
These dudes are gunning.
Not me.
They're
Blue,
just
not me.
not even looking at the teammates.
Not-
just
Not me. I
putting
like
it
this
up.
painting.
Give me the rock.
Drew and I are trying to win.
Right, we trying to coach it. I'm trying to win this
I'm
thing.
like Jerry Jones. I just
Going
like the
for
heat.
your numbers.
Shedeur looked good to start the Browns' first preseason game. Does that mean he moved up the depth chart? No. No, he did not. Brewer, are you surprised? He's still QB4.
Well-
And a video that you need to see to believe.
Before we get to Shedeur, in this situation, I did want to show this because it was controversy yesterday on Shedeur walking in with the boom box and the staff.
Oh, did you get?
Yeah,
So people were correcting
here's the
us.
video.
People were not
this,
happy with
This
our-
guy with the wooden sickle is a Browns player, Tony Brown. He's a cornerback. And he always walks around with this sickle. It's a wooden sickle. He was barefoot in it. This is before the game. Shedeur is nowhere to be found. So my point is, he's even done that at Kevin Stefanski's offseason camps. Like, they had the sickle. I don't know if he's been barefoot. But so my point is, this is an eccentric teammate that I assume is a friend of Shedeur's. They call him Crazy
to walk
Tony.
in separate.
They call him
That's
Crazy
I would
Tony.
have just been like, hey guys, I don't think people know you as well as they know me, so maybe let's stagger the entries.
Yeah,
It's leadership. It's embracing
That's
a
right.
guy that's eccentric. Maybe he's alone in the locker room. He's saying, "Look, this is my guy. We need
Reminds
him.
me
I'm
of something
embracing
John Quincy Adams once said.
I was gonna see if that side of the table wanted to apologize.
No, apologize?
Y'all ripped him to shreds yesterday,
okay.
especially Coach. Coach was done with him.
I did not know that the
That's what I'm
eccentric team,
saying.
and I'm glad you brought that to my attention. To Nick's point, you don't mandate who you walk into the locker room
Maybe they're
with.
good friends.
You choose who you walk. So
Bro.
maybe stagger.
I didn't rip him to shreds, first of all. I simply said,
I didn't like it.
if you are,
But
if in
now you
addition
get
to
it.
trying to
That's
move up the Browns depth chart, you are also kind of auditioning for 31 other teams, there is a chance that everyone didn't do the Tony Brown research you did, and instead they just saw him walking in alongside a guy carrying a Grim Reaper weapon and a boombox.
A wooden sickle.
Okay, I thought it was called a
was
sight,
that his?
but that's fine.
That was his
That's
music
his
too?
sick. He always.
yeah.
I guess it's his boombox.
He always
too.
got a soundtrack
Okay,
and a
all right,
sickle.
that's fine. All right, bro.
All right, but anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, look, I do think that Shedeur should be third. I think
Behind who? Like who should be fourth?
Dylan should be fourth.
Okay,
Dylan
got
Gabriel
it.
should be. I mean, and I'm throwing Pickett in there, but
Yeah.
so Flacco, Pickett,
Got it.
Shedeur, Dylan. I think, Coach, those two essentially, I get it. Dylan Gabriel's a third-round pick, Shedeur's fifth. To me, they should have entered camp essentially at the same level. Okay, Dylan's a little bit he's not a first-round pick. We're treating him like, oh, he's a third-round pick, Shedeur's a fifth. I mean, I get there's some difference, but and by all reports, now we haven't seen the whole picture, it looks like Shedeur has outplayed him in the practices. We know Gabriel's numbers haven't been great. He has been going a little more advanced level. And then to see what Shedeur did in that game against Carolina's ones for at least some of it, I just think that he should be ahead. It ultimately doesn't matter. This next game is going to kind of, determine which of them is the top rookie. But I think he should have been moved up.
Yeah, and so Dylan's not a first-round pick, and Shedeur's not a first-round pick, and Shedeur is a fifth-round pick. And when you set the training camp depth chart, it's not an exercise that anybody really wants to do, because you're going through it and you're trying to have everybody compete and try to the depth chart is completely fluid. And you want to establish that because you want guys to have to constantly be competing so that you can figure out who the best 53 are. The difficult thing with so much attention being on this is that everybody wants daily updates, and that's not how this competition is being evaluated. They're trying to actually look at it from a comprehensive perspective where ideally guys get like with like reps. And so as you're evaluating it, you can evaluate it based off them each getting the same opportunity. So it's not the stock market where every time you log on the internet, it's like, oh,
No, but they
Shedeur's
did.
up, Gabriel's down.
But they did post. They release a depth chart before week 1 of the preseason, and then they released the updated one. This wasn't,
Not by choice.
No,
the
I
league
understand.
tells you, release a depth chart, and you're like, and then they say, who do you want on? You're like, I don't care. Put whoever you want on it. It won't matter because it's not going to be the depth chart we have at the start of the season.
So I think Shedeur could have gone 20 of 20 for 4 touchdowns, and they weren't going to. I think there's that depth chart, those 4 quarterbacks. Stefanski was going to, maybe he said, I don't care about how you list anything, except these 4 quarterbacks. How we listed them before game 1 is how we're listing them after game 1, just to try to minimize some of the noise. What I do think, though, is fair to say, and I believe, if it was a 3rd-round corner and a 5th-round corner, and these were their cornerback versions of their preseason, where one guy, according to the reporters at camp, has played better than the other, the 3rd-round pick has played worse than the 5th, and the 3rd-round pick has dealt with a nagging injury. The 5th-round pick in the first preseason game played a lot and played pretty well. We would say, oh, draft status be damned.
You wouldn't move them up because, remember, you got to cut these guys at the end of the season. So if there's a guy you want to get to the practice squad, even if they're playing well, you'll keep on the back end of the roster so it looks like they're not playing well.
No.
Unless somebody's really studied your stuff. So you're not giving the rest of the league information.
That's totally fair. I don't actually mean literally moved up on the release depth chart. I mean,
on the in-house one?
In the in-house, in the coach's mind, you'd be like, oh, okay. It doesn't matter. We took this guy 60 picks ahead of that guy.
Yeah.
At any other position, I think it would be close to meaningless. You know what I mean? I think. Tell me if I'm wrong, Coach. But
no, you're right. And I think what we may not see, but could be happening, is he may be getting opportunities that he didn't get before. Right. So now they're giving him maybe X amount more reps, or they're giving him a little bit more red zone. So they don't want necessarily the world to know because everybody's going to make a big deal out of it. So you can just build it into the practice and see whether or not the media can figure it out while you're doing it.
So the thought on our show collectively has kind of been someone's getting traded, right? One of the 4 guys. Flacco's going to start, and maybe Shedeur should be the first one to come in once Flacco kind of water finds its level. And then this video popped up recently, the other day, I think. It's Deshaun Watson, who all of a sudden looks pretty good, recovering from his Achilles surgery. Does anyone think Deshaun Watson throws a wrench, if he's available, throws a wrench in this plan?
I don't think Deshaun Watson will ever throw another pass in the NFL.
Never. Oh, in the NFL, period.
In the NFL.
Oh.
I think that he is he is one of the more toxic players as far as the information surrounding him off the field. You take that aside, his play since he left Houston, by every regular or advanced stat, has been bottom 3 quarterback in the league, and he's coming off a catastrophic injury. And the Browns owner has said, we whiffed on
money. Yeah.
And so I just think that
But if he wants to play and he's healthy, then you've got a real issue because
with the Browns, you think?
Well, if he wants to play and he's healthy, what are you going to do?
Bench him. What do you mean?
Bench
He's not playing.
You could potentially bench him, but are you going to activate him? Are you going to bring him up to the 53-man roster?
Oh, I mean, I don't think that's
because then he could get picked up.
Can't you just fail him on his physical? I mean, like
you can do anything you want, but you also have to prove that what you're doing is legitimate. Okay. That's why there's the CBA.
My question is, I tend to agree with you, Nick, but I want to ask Coach, would you, let's say he doesn't play this year, but he gets healthy. Do you think no other team, I get it, the whole toxic, the history, although that's a few years removed now. Do you think another team might give him a shot? I mean, you need quarterbacks. I know he's been bad when he's played.
I just don't know how Cleveland gets out of the money. That, to me, is the biggest issue.
After this year, they can do it, Coach.
It's still, what is it, still
it's
like
insane.
80 or 90?
Yeah,
it's some ridiculous
But
number.
it'll be like Denver with Russell Wilson.
It'll be the Russell Wilson.
Figure.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.